There are critical thinkers, even economists, who say, well, this economy, this system that we have, there are drawbacks, there are negativities, it is aggressive, harm is being done, there's poverty, and so on. Then they say we should bring some morality into it, like compassion, trust, be less greedy, and still other moral values. We must bring in moral values into our economic planning, ethics in the economy. That all sounds very nice, of course, but the question is, how do you do that? You go to the Department of Economic Planning and then you say, please bring some compassion into your programming. But there's no formula to bring compassion into that economic equation. It does not work like that. It's all nice talk, blah, 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 and philosophy. It's meant well and it's better than nothing, maybe, but it doesn't work. It didn't work for decades or centuries even that people have been saying that, but nothing changed. So I take this example of the ethics in the medical profession. You know, there is the oath of Hippocratic. He's also Greek, like the word Oikonomia, so we seem to fall back on Greek culture a lot for this. In the medical profession, it is not with every part of their discipline they study, like cardiology or whatever part of the body or sicknesses. They have to be reminded each time, oh, be ethical, be compassionate. You must work for the good of the patient. It is not each time that they have to be told that. Instead, they have to take the oath of Hippocrates at the beginning when they become doctors. It says something like, you will always work to save people's lives and you will not kill people and such things. Every doctor has taken the oath of Hippocrates, and that takes care of the morality in his profession. And while he is focused on the technical part of his medical science, this oath is underlying all what he is doing, all his professional work. So I want to compare the people quality indicator that I explained in video 7 as the core element of my views with that oath of Hippocrates. When we apply that people quality indicator, instead of the other grow indicator of GDP, then we do not have to think that each and every program or planning, oh, we must be compassionate, we should not be so greedy. Then the moral values are automatically baked into our programming. So I lay a lot of emphasis on this because I figured out in the 20 years that I tried to explain my views that this point is really central and also maybe not immediately understandable, but once you understand this, it gives you a concrete grasp of what to change and how to change things. Another example, lastly, I really put a lot of emphasis on this people quality indicator. For people with a more warrior-like mind who want to fight for the good of the world and mankind, you could also see it as the Excalibur, this mythical and magical sword in the legend of King Arthur. I do not know the exact story, but it is some kind of mythical sword which has a lot of power. And it is important to get that sword, and then you will be invincible or something. So that people quality indicator will be like that mythical sword. We need to grab that. And why mythical and magical? That's why I find this example applicable. because we do not really understand how it works. We just apply the people quality indicator and then it all changes. It all becomes better. And we don't really understand why and how it works. That's why we can see it a little bit as magical. Does that only count for the people quality indicator? No, it also counts for the GDP indicator. There are a lot of problems, a lot of aggression, a lot of war, a lot of poverty, which is also aggression. To have people live so poor and hungry in this world, it is aggression. These problems are, for a large part, caused by the GDP indicator. And because we all believe in it, we all believe that the economy must grow, grow, grow. But we do not understand the relationship between the growth thinking, that obsession with growth, and all the problems in the world. We don't see the connections, but it is connected. So, also with the GDP indicator, it works in mysterious ways. But then, in the positive sense, when we apply the right indicator, the right mythical method, the entire dynamic will go automatically in the right direction. Then we don't need to plan and change and transform every little detail or action. Of course, I understand that this needs more explanation why it would happen like that. But for now, I just briefly point this out. To illustrate what I think and why do I think it, I don't know. Maybe I have special insights. I don't know. Maybe not. If we would implement the people quality indicator today, this month, this year, or next year, since the year has already almost finished, the world as a whole will have become much less tense in, say, 10 years. The tensions would have decreased already a lot. Wars, poverty, all kinds of suppression, migration as well. You know, the need for people to migrate because they cannot survive in their own countries. And I'm not talking only about poor countries. The rich countries like America or Europe, we have a lot of tensions. The mental health doesn't really get any better. And I link this to this wrong view on the economy. You can question that. Well, is that really all because of the economy? Well, maybe not 100%, but I think for a large part. There's much pressure on the individual to perform. The dehumanization of society is much linked to this endless growth economy. So that causes a lot of mental pressure and unhappiness, also in rich countries. So I'm not talking only about poor countries. So in 10 years, if we would start implementing the people quality indicator right now, the tensions would already have gone down quite a lot. And in 20 years, I'm quite sure, I'm willing to vouch for that. And economists always like to predict things, to say things about the future. So I'm an economist, so I must say something about the future. In 20 years, we would have forgotten how we did it today. This growth thinking? What? 20 years ago, what was that? Were we that stupid? The world would have changed. The culture would have changed. Our thinking about the economy would have changed so totally. It will go quite fast, actually, because it is so effective and comprehensive. So, Excalibur, take that sword. In 10 years, things will already be much better, much less tension. And in 20 years, we will have transformed the world. We would not even be able to remember how it was in the past.